Indian External Affairs Minister's ongoing visit to Moscow for bilateral and global discussions assumes significance as India takes over G20 presidency soon. But the visit and discussions assume geopolitical strategic importance as G20 summit takes place next week when US and Russian presidents will be in the same room.
Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar held a bilateral meeting with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, in Moscow on November 8th. Both leaders spoke on a wide range of issues pertaining to bilateral, regional, and global matters. Jaishankar is on a 2 day visit to Moscow. He said that India's relationship with Russia is exceptionally steady and underlined that the objective now is to stitch a mutually beneficial and long term engagement in the backdrop of the increasing economic cooperation. In his opening remarks following the meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, Jaishankar pointed out that the COVID-19 pandemic, financial pressures, and trade difficulties had taken a toll on the global economy. While India hasn't condemned Russia directly, Jaishankar didn't shirk from saying publicly that, quote, we are now seeing the consequences of the Ukraine conflict on top of that, end quote. In the same breath, the Indian minister highlighted India's core issues of, quote, more perennial issues of terrorism and climate change, both of which have a disruptive impact on progress and prosperity, end quote. Both leaders spoke on a wide range of issues pertaining to bilateral, regional, and global matters. This is the fifth meeting between both leaders after the Ukraine conflict began in February 2022. Analysts have said that India's presidency of G20 and cordial relations with both US and Russia place India in a strategic position to discuss Ukraine conflict with the warring superpowers. In that context, Jaishankar's visit assumes significance as it comes days before the G20 summit in Bali, scheduled for November 15th to 16th. This will be the first time since the conflict broke out in Ukraine that Putin and the Western leaders, including US President Joe Biden, will be in the same room. India is being billed as a potential negotiator between Russia and Ukraine. Jaishankar last visited Moscow in July 2021. Jaishankar has held talks with the US Secretary of State following the July visit to Moscow and before the ongoing visit to Moscow. It is learned that India has intervened quietly in the past few months when there has been a deadlock. In July, India had weighed in with Russia on the grain shipment from ports in the Black Sea.